Hey, welcome to today's Tech Tip. Today we're going to be reviewing the quick procedure to create a roadmap from my measurements, and we're going to do that in Paperspace in layout mode. So we're going to get started on that, and you can see right now we're in model space. We're in the model space tab, so we're in CAD space here, and you can see we've got these little sticks on the part, all around the part. Those are the reporting entities. That's the report that I loaded in from the CMM. Once we have these reporting entities, then we can go ahead and make any kind of report we want. Specifically, we're going to go into Paperspace and make a roadmap. Paperspace is just going to create more tabs down at the bottom here. You can see we've got the model tab where we are now. There's already a layout one. That's Paperspace. We're going to make another tab in here for roadmaps. These are basically Paperspace, just a refresher. It's basically just creating pieces of paper that we're with pictures on it that we're going to print out to a printer or to electronically to a PDF or some other format that our computer supports. So let's get started here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the label menu, down to the bottom, wizards, and we're going to create a layout tab. Okay, and you can see down the left-hand side of this pop-up here, these are the steps that it's going to walk us through. Most of these steps are pretty straightforward. You can probably hit next on most of them, but I'm just going to go through these here and just do kind of a typical scenario here. So I'm just going to call this one roadmap. Let's go singular, and then we'll say next. Default printer plotter, I'm just going to say none. We can go back in and change that at any time, whether we want to go to a PDF or an XPS or some sort of other printer that we have installed in Windows. So I'm just going to select none for now. We'll say next. Typical paper size is 8.5 by 11. That's inches. That's pretty standard, so I'm just going to hit next. Portrait or landscape, I find 9 times out of 10 I'm always using landscape, so I'm just going to hit next. Now we can go in and select a title block. Let's see what we got here. I'm just going to grab any old one of these. I'm just going to grab an origin title block here. A lot of people go in and make their own. It's just a BWG file. So people like to make their own logos. You'll see what I'm talking about as soon as I bring that up. Hit next. The next one is the viewport setup. You can actually have multiple windows on a single piece of paper. I don't recommend it if we're using an 8.5 by 11. Probably best to leave it on single. And then if you wanted to do another picture, just create another layout tab. It gets hard to read things if you start doing multiple windows on a single layout tab. So I wouldn't even be bothering with the arrays or anything else. Just leave it on single. And we'll just hit next. And the last thing here is to select a location. So you can hit next, and what that's going to do, it'll just make the window take the whole size of the piece of paper. But I kind of like being able to, if I'm using a title block, I kind of want to select it because I don't actually want to go in and have it take up the whole space. You can see I have this title block here. What I actually want is my window to be inside of the title block. So I did my first click on the top left corner, and I'm going to do my left click, you can see in the kind of the lower right corner, but above the title block. So I'll just go click there to the snap, and there we go, and then I'll hit finish. And then it brings my part in. And of course, even if I'm in Paperspace right now, down to the bottom, there's a couple modes here. It's hard to see here, but you can see it says paper in gray here. If we kind of zoom that, if I click that to model, now I'm kind of working in as if I'm in model space. So if I can zoom up on the part, you'll notice that it's not going, as I zoom up, it's staying within the window. It's not going over top of the title block, and that's because I made the window fit inside of my title block area. So let's just zoom out a little bit. So what I'm going to do is we're going to, now that we've created this layout tab, now we're going to go and make some labels for this. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to do some automatic ones, so it's going to be nice and quick. So the first thing we have to do is zoom extents. So it's Z, enter, E, enter. And what that is, it's like doing a fit to the screen, but it's not, you don't want to do a fit, it's actually a different command. It's a zoom extent. So you do that by hitting Z enter. E-enter. And the reason for that is it's just some extra calculations in the background that we use for creating the labels. So having done that, let's go into our label defaults now. We want to go down to the bottom for set up label defaults, so we can set up what we want them to look like. Now, there's a whole bunch of stuff here, and you can take the full training course on reporting to do all this, but basically what it comes down to is we want to create, halfway down on the left-hand side, this after creation display. Post-inspection labels are the ones that are going to have results data filled in them. We want a pre-inspection label, so we want to have just a label name or a roadmap. So that's the first thing. The second thing is on the left, in the middle column here, the arrow position. I always like putting it above the part, so it kind of puts it in front. You don't have that way. You won't have arrowheads and leader lines disappearing behind the part. So I like doing that also. So there's that. There's the pre-inspection, and the label component display up here, it's just on the left side here where my mouse is. It's about a third of the way down. You want to make sure it says name only. Okay, so that means that way we're going to get a roadmap. Now there's one more thing that I go and check here, but we might have to come back in here and make some changes. Okay, and that's the paper frame height. That's the size that these labels are going to be. So I don't really know how it's going to look, but I'm going to guess, and let's say 0.5, half an inch. And what we'll do is once we make our labels, we'll see how that looks, and if not, we'll come back here and change it. So let's just hit OK. And the easiest way to go in and make these labels, since I already did the zoom extent, again, I have that little paper switch down at the bottom here. You can see where my mouse cursor is. We're now in model space mode, even though we're in a layout tab. We're in model space mode. So being in model space mode, that means all my menus and icons are going to function. So I'm just going to go over on the right-hand side here, Hot Plus Group. And I'm going to pick any one of these little reporting entities here, make them hot. And now they all go hot because they came in as a group of data. And then we're going to say label, we want automatic, label, automatic, closest, the very first one there. So we'll click on that, and it goes and instantly makes all our labels. Now you can see they're a little bit big, okay? Maybe if we had made them half that size, it might have been a little bit better. So I'm just going to go up here and do an undo. And our reporting entities are hot again. So I'm going to go back to my label defaults. And instead of 0.5, let's just try 0.2. Just a little bit less than half that. Okay, now we'll try it again. We'll go label, automatic, closest. There we go. That's not bad size. That's much better. Now we still have a few here that are kind of out of the way. So let's show you how to neaten these up real quick. Again, we're still in model space down here at the bottom, so I can use these menus, and I'm just going to say label, and we're going to drag a label around. And I'm just going to pick it, move it around, click where I want to drop it off, and there we go. And the nice thing is if you hit Enter, which repeats the command, we can pick the next one and continue on. So let me just pick it up and drop it off. Let me hit Enter to repeat the command, pick this up, drop it off. Okay. And then we'll hit Enter to repeat. I'll grab this guy and move him down here. And this one here, I kind of want to move off to the right instead of to the left, so then that would make the leader kind of on the wrong side. You'll see what I mean here when I drag it over. If I move it over here, now it looks kind of weird, so I don't like that either. So what I'm going to do is a different command. I'm going to say label, flip label side, and then I'm going to pick this guy here, and then hit Enter. And you can see it actually flips the sign of the leader. Now I'm going to have to drag it again, move it over. Drag a label. I'll grab this guy and move him a little bit closer to the part. Okay, now having done that, I can move up a little bit. All right, and I think I'm just going to clean up a few of these, just a few more of these, just get them a little bit closer in. And the automatic is nice because it whips off all these labels all at once, but you know, the reality is you're probably never going to have, even with automatic mode, you're never going to have these labels looking exactly perfect the first time. I've been doing this for 15 years, and I still don't get labels perfect the first time. It's a very artistic thing here. So I'll get these nice and closer here. Okay, that's not bad. We got them pretty close. What I'm going to do is, what I always do is when I'm done, I zoom out a little bit more than what I have to. And then what I do is I'll do this window, zoom window. I'll click on that guy, and I'll just kind of get a nice window, just nice and tight around everything. That way it'll zoom up on it just the right amount there. Click, and it zooms up just right. So now I've got my roadmap. I can save my file, or I can go down here to the roadmap tab, and I can right-click on here, and I can go and print this out. You can do a few things here. You can delete it or rename the roadmap name. But the big thing here is you can go in and plot this whenever you want to print this out. Again, electronically to PDF or whatever electronic format you want, or to a printer, whatever you happen to have installed. So that's a little tech tip on making roadmaps in layout mode.